Hi folks, this is Mark Smith, and if you watched my video from yesterday, you know that I'm suffering with a cold. My plan for the day was to relax in bed and recuperate, but as I was having breakfast with my daughter Taylor, who is 24, we got to talking about her painting. This is the painting that she has entitled Absolution. Isn't it beautiful? My daughter is a very, very, very talented artist. And I managed to purchase this piece of art from her. But we got to talking about that word, absolution. And I brought the painting into my desk. Miss Taylor left to prepare to go to a concert, and I found that I had the house to myself. And then some words just started to come up for me, and a poem took shape. A poem called Absolution. Miss Taylor said that this was a letting go of shame and expectation and sort of embracing the universe. And but I'm just going to share what it brought up in me, almost as if it was a writing prompt for me, which it really was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the poem, and then I'm going to go through and I don't know what I'm going to say the second time through, honestly. It's a little scary. I'm just going to say whatever comes up for me as I commentate on the poem. But absolution. Heard, seen, truly as I am, absolution. Allowed to be shattered, permitted to be human, good enough, absolution. Put down the rock cast in my direction, lest the universe write down your many sins in the sand. Absolution. Broken people, far from perfect, messy, unhinged, erratic creatures we. Absolution. It's about the journey, the naked courage to heal and weep and howl, to know, love, and nurture your wounded little one that rests in your belly, in your chest. Absolution. Today, I stake my sacred claim of lovely personhood. I hold my head high with dignity. I am so very proud of myself. Absolution. I did not know that one could suffer such a dark, surreal, nightmarish wound and live to tell about it. Absolution. I don't know who I will ultimately become, or how my story will end. But in my heart and soul and in the living tissues of my body, I fully embrace absolution. Absolution, grace, forgiveness, enlightened witnesses, empowerment, strength, and the burgeoning of fresh opportunities. Absolution. Absolution, absolution, sweet, priceless, delicious absolution. So now the hard part for me is I'm going to go through and just share whatever comes up for me. I haven't put any thought toward this at all. But I'm going to read through the poem again and just see what comes up. Absolution. Heard, seen, truly as I am, absolution. So many times when we're shattered, people misunderstand us. That's beautiful. Wow. We got absolution in the mountains. In my mug. People project onto us characteristics that are far from who we are. And psychologically, there is some absolution in being heard and seen truly as you are. I was raised Catholic, and as I was saying the word absolution, I wanted to give the sign of the cross just instinctively. And I haven't been a Catholic since I was 17. Absolution. Allowed to be shattered. Permitted to be human. Good enough. Absolution. Therapists in some quarters are viewed as folks who can't be human beings. And they're judged to rigid, superhuman standards that nobody on the planet can live up to. Having a post-traumatic stress reaction is not making an ethical choice. The truth is, in terms of my role as a therapist and an encourager of lost souls like y'all, and as a writer, I'm a lot better than just good enough, if I may say so myself. Put down the rock cast in my direction, lest the universe write down your many sins in the sand as well. Absolution. Going through shattering has made me much less judgmental. I've wondered when you read of a man who goes postal and, acts out in violence. I've wondered how many times that was a codependent who just got, a grand finale from a vicious narcissist. And then what goes down in history? That the guy was crazy and he was a murderer. And I'm not in any way letting people off the hook for violence. Many times it's not a gender thing. Women have violent acts as well. But I've just wondered. So I've been careful not to pick up stones to cast at people, because I am quite aware of my own frailties, The universe doesn't have to write them in the sand. I'm pretty on top of them. Broken people, far from perfect, messy, unhinged, erratic creatures we. Absolution. Life is messy. If I interview a prospective therapist and the image that they share is that their shit don't stink, I would never hire them. I want somebody who's been through some things. I want somebody with some grit and some perspective, somebody who has suffered. I think when the universe creates a writer and a poet, the universe first allows for great suffering. And I think when the universe creates a therapist, the same is true. It's about the journey, the naked courage to heal and weep and howl, to know, love, and nurture your wounded little one inside. Absolution. Takes a lot of courage. You got to do a lot of weeping. And there ain't nothing wrong with some occasional howling, to scream in your car, or to punch a punching bag, or to hit the couch with a tennis racket as you howl the woundedness out of your spirit. Today, I stake my sacred claim of lovely personhood. That's got to be my favorite line in this, and I almost took it out because it sounds so metrosexual. But I think that's what healing from shame and absolution is about. It's about seeing yourself as lovely, as beautiful, seeing your strengths, seeing all the good things about you, which far outweigh the bad. So today, I do stake my sacred claim of lovely personhood, and I invite y'all to do the same. Lovely. I hold my head high with dignity. I am so very proud of myself. Absolution. Honestly, I believe if people understood the power and the intensity of a shattering, and how much courage it takes to heal and how much work it takes, and then to be able to transmute that suffering into personal growth and help for people like you, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And with the knowledge of that, I do hold my head high. And I do have a lot of pride for how far I've come and how much healing I've done and how much healing I've been able to share with all of you. I did not know that one could suffer such a dark, surreal, nightmarish wound and live to tell about it. Absolution. I didn't know that narcissists existed. I thought dating a borderline was just fun and games and, hot sex and not much danger, but I was wrong about that. Life becomes so dark and so surreal. You wake up and say, wait a minute, can this possibly be my life? How is that possible that this is my life? I don't know who I'll become or how the story will end. But in my heart and soul and in the living tissues of my body, I fully embrace my absolution. You know, I'm a strong guy, and I have a lot of vision, and I have a lot of focus, and I always tend to believe that the good guy wins at the end of the movie. You ever go to a movie and they kill off the good guy? You're like, wow. Or the end comes and the good guy gets killed and the bad guy wins. I hate that. In American movies, almost always the good guy wins. And so I picture absolution and vindication and dancing in the end zone and spiking the football and doing a victory dance and selling books and building my voice in the world. But I could die tomorrow. Life is hard. But you know what? Whether I spike the ball in the end zone or whether I don't, I still take hold of that lovely personhood, perception of myself. I thought the Dallas Cowboys were going to win the Super Bowl. I bet a fella at work, or not at work, but at the basketball court, $20. Dallas Cowboys against the field. I thought for sure they were going to win. But they lost. They barely lost. They shouldn't have lost, but they lost. So we don't know how our story's going to end. I'd like to sit here and tell you that your story is going to be nothing but, victory dances and happiness and joy and sunshine and roses and unicorns. But it may not be. But either way, internally, we have absolution. Absolution, grace, forgiveness, a multitude of enlightened witnesses, empowerment, strength, and the burgeoning of fresh opportunities. Absolution. When you get a hold of healing the wounds of your trauma, and then when you heal some of the shame and you garner enough momentum to stand up to fear and stand up to panic attack, there's an energy to that. There's a forward momentum. There's a graciousness to that. There's a forgiveness for oneself and for others who've harmed you. You surround yourself with a team of enlightened witnesses. You feel empowered. You're taking on personal strength as you deal with suffering. And then fresh opportunities come knocking on your door. Absolution. Absolution. Sweet. Priceless. Delicious. Absolution. I don't want to turn this into a commercial, but if anybody wants to buy this painting, my daughter is planning on becoming a counselor. She's headed to graduate school as either an art therapist, which I would prefer she do, or just to study therapy. That's my 24-year-old artist daughter. And if you wanted to buy the painting, that could go toward her graduate school expenses. And then my other daughter just got accepted into the University of Denver social work graduate program. and is going to move to Denver and take on the world from the mountains as a social worker, newly minted. I'm going to go take a nap and try to beat this cold. I hope that I've been able to offer you something beautiful, something sweet, something lovely, something kind, something that brings some positive energy to your day, something that lifts the grayness, something that gives you courage, something that makes you smile, makes you laugh. This is a hard road of recovering from this wicked experience, this wicked syndrome of narcissistic abuse and complex PTSD. And sometimes a little bit of art and a little bit of poetry is like salve on a wound. Join us on Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. We have church for the narcissistically abused. You do have to subscribe to our channel, and then you'll be notified on your devices, and that rascal will start right up, and you can message in and chat with us. So you do have to subscribe. I do have some really good books that you can buy if you would like, on abandonment issues, on healing shame, and on affair recovery. I'm wishing you lovely personhood and absolution and a very blessed week. God bless.